What's going on, everybody? My name is Daniel Augustin, and on today's episode of Multi-Hyphenate AF, I'm going to go ahead and get right to my next topic, which is DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway is in a very interesting position here, where he can now show the world why he was the number one player in high school and why he deserves to be a Heisman candidate in the future. He's in a position now where he's put out tape his freshman year, where he was cutting loose. He seemed a lot more free his freshman year. We've seen the second year now, so we've seen him have this year where he had no real development, and now we're moving on to his junior season. Here's what I want to say. I watched some press game clips because when you watch the post game, when you watch the post game, this is your best chance to get a chance to really see the ins and outs of the team's energy, and if a guy's a leader, if a guy's the toxic guy, who this guy is in the program. You're getting a chance to see all those things. I think these first 2 years with DJ Lagway has really been about him just evolving from a high school student who was under the wings of his parents' home, the comfort of his parents' home, to now being this college student who's got brand deals with Red Bull and is touted as a preseason Heisman candidate. Kind of hard not to fall in love with yourself. I played sports all my life, and just from what I understand about sports, when you're not healthy, when you're hurt and you're injured, there's a reason why. Some people do have chronic ailments, knees, back, certain things that could possibly be genetic, but for the most part, you know when you injured your foot. You know what happened. So for DJ Lagway to go from that first freshman year to his sophomore year now, I see that as a scenario where you go from your freshman year to your sophomore year, you don't work out almost all off season, and now there's reports that you didn't start really getting into full pads and practicing for real until the season was getting ready to get started. What in the hell were you doing? Even if you are working on your leg is injured, there's other stuff you're supposed to be doing as it pertains to staying in shape, getting game reps, with the virtual reality, maybe watching film with your guys. There's a reason why the Baltimore Ravens won that championship when they did with Ray Lewis, the Ed Reed. There's a reason why they were the best defense, and there's a reason why their defense was able to actually be the strongest part of that team and elevate that team beyond what anybody thought was possible. It's because those guys spent a lot of time, Ed Reed and Ray Lewis most specifically, spent so much time with each other together outside of practice, watching film, talking about how to scheme against certain teams, how to figure out what other teams are doing when they're doing this, that, or the third. And that was the leadership that team had that made them what they were. This Florida Gators team lacks leadership. When you look at Tim Tebow, I don't care how his spiral looked. It wasn't the prettiest. Tim Tebow couldn't throw the ball like Chris Leak, but Tim Tebow's voice was a voice guys could get behind, and they knew that if he's working that hard, I got to match his level of intensity because he's my quarterback. They see him on the field converting on a 4th and 8, putting his body on the line. They see him not making excuses. They see him going harder than everybody else. So it gives the coach the license to push the team. It gives that quarterback license to push the team. And it gives guys themselves the license to push themselves. The one main thing I see from DJ Lagway when I see him in the post-game press conference and people are asking him questions about what this team needs to do, he's got these answers that kind of just sound like the right answer. It just sounds like the type of answer you would respond with if you wanted to say the right thing. We got to keep working hard. We got to trust the process. We got to trust the process and, get better every day. Are you doing that, though? Because there's what you're saying and then there's what you're doing. If you were genuinely getting better every day, I don't see how you don't come into this season at your best. You can't come into this season and we're still hearing about the ailments of last season. Unless you tore an ACL last season, we shouldn't be hearing about an injury that moved into this season. We shouldn't even be hearing about it. I don't care what it is. Hamstrings don't take that long. Hamstring don't take that long. No strain, no sprain, none of that. One thing he mentioned in the press conference was how, he's just got to make sure, somebody asked him about his health, and he said he's just got to make sure he keeps doing the right things, keeps eating the right things. Why is that even a topic? Why is that even something he brought up? Because you weren't eating the right things. Let's be honest. Lagway looks a little heavy. Lagway absolutely has the build to be able to dominate like Tim Tebow did. But I don't see the leadership in him. I don't yet see the dominance in him. I don't see that. I don't see a guy who is able to dominate on this level. One thing I did too when I started to think about all this was I went back and I said, let me look at DJ Lagway in high school. I want to see, why were you the number one player in high school in Texas? And a lot like Arch Manning, DJ Lagway was the most physically impressive guy on the field. I'm going to put up clips of him here on the side. Let me pull it up right here for myself. Put this down. And when you watch this, you see somebody who's running by everybody, but it's not because he's that much faster. It's not because he's moving like Tyreek Hill. It's because look at the entire defense. Everybody on the defense is smaller than him, including the D linemen. You give a quarterback like that one impressive wide receiver, maybe one impressive running back who can block a little bit, you're going to get a guy who's going to have the pieces that he needs. Look at the tackles he's breaking. Can we be honest and say these are the tackles he's going to break at the University of Florida? In the SEC, going against Alabama and Georgia? Georgia has produced some of the best linebackers and edge rushers. Georgia and Alabama, by far, in the SEC. Can we be honest and say DJ Lagway versus Auburn competition is going to look like this? Look at these D linemen. Look at some of these D linemen. Look how little this guy is. Look at this tackle that they weren't able to make. Look at this running back. Look how unimpressive he looks. Look how slow he looks. Look at this one. I saw this one too, and I thought this was really interesting. Look at that missed tackle. Look how small those corners are compared to Lagway. I'm not doing this to talk shit. I'm doing this to really bring to attention, it's always been easy for this guy. It's been too easy. And so if it's been this easy, then one thing we can be certain of is, if it's been this easy, one thing we can be certain of is the transition into high school, into college is not going to be that simple. Because it's got to be a mindset transition. You now have to go from being able to say you were the best player in high school to now saying, I'm on a whole nother level. It's time for me to start over. And you have to have a coach who can get in your mind and help you understand that, who can help you understand how you can get better. Was he even watching film in high school playing like this? Like, look at these guys. Did he really even have to watch film? And when you see some of these throws he's making some of these throws too. You can see it where he's off balance. I could see why he tried to make the throw the way he made that throw to J. Michael Sturdivant. He should have, I made a video talking about how the refs pissed me off and the refs got that wrong. They did, but the thing is, to really win these games, you have to take the game out of the refs. You have to take the whistle out of the ref's hand. You got to take it away from them by making the plays, by making the throws. And to make those throws, to make those plays, you have to have that kind of, those hours need to be built up with your team. Like this Florida Gators team, how hard are they working with each other? Are they training with each other outside of like the hours that they deem as when they're supposed to? Are they just linking up when they're supposed to? Like, yeah, I'm punching the clock. Or are they going the extra mile and they're doing more work with each other? Like Ed Reed and Ray Lewis used to do. Those guys used to link up and talk about the game collectively. How are they going about that? And that's all on DJ Lagway. When you look at Tim Tebow and he said and he gave the promise, you believed him. He let you know what the quota was. With DJ Lagway right now, we're just hearing we just got to keep getting better and trust the process. That's not good enough. Not at the University of Florida. Not when you got to get over the hump of Alabama and Texas and Georgia and Ole Miss now and LSU. And it just about tells me it doesn't matter who the next coach is unless that coach is able to get in his head and help him see. This all starts with you, young man. This team will not get better if you don't take the responsibility of helping this team get better. This team only improves upon you doing better. These wide receivers need to feel like they're in good hands, and not just because you have a great arm and because you have had success in the past. No, they need to see it in your work ethic every day. And we don't hear that. Instead, we hear reports that people on the team don't like Lagway. We shouldn't even be hearing that type of shit. Let's be honest. Never heard that about Tim Tebow. Ever. And so this is a story that I'm going to be tracking. I'm going to follow up on this. I'm going to be doing more research on this because I think we need to be hyper aware of what it is we are actually frustrated with. Is it the coaching? Is it the players? Is it both? The next coach may just walk into the same scenario, and because Lagway's talented, we're just playing a quarterback who's talented, but we're not getting into the quarterback's mindset and helping them evolve. We need to see a huge shift in DJ Lagway and the way he approaches everything, including press conferences. We need to feel like there's more transparency there and not just a guy who knows how to say the right thing. Because now you look like a guy who knows how to look like a quarterback. Are you a guy who, when nobody's watching, there's no cameras around, are you that same guy who knows how to do what you need to do to get better? Are you the guy that's hitting up your wide receivers and saying, yo, I was just watching film. These safeties love biting down, bro. Be ready. I'm telling you right now, I'm throwing anticipation in this one. Big difference. Makes a huge difference.